Troilus is a past producer in the southern James Bay. It operated for 14 years, produced 2 million ounces of gold and about 70,000 tons of copper. Inmet was the operator. Mine shut down because of lack of reserves, not because it wasn't there, because the investment of Inmet went elsewhere, and namely Cobre Panama, which was the rationale for the hostile takeover by First Quantum. We acquired the property privately in 2016, went public in 2018. We've drilled 350,000 meters and recently put out a 13 million ounce equivalent resource, one of the largest developing gold assets in Canada. I'll be making forward-looking statements. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on why Quebec is a great jurisdiction. We don't have that time today, but certainly I've worked in over 20 countries around the world during my time in production and exploration, and very few places give you money back. We're a brownfields project with a long historic mine life, so the technical risk is lower. Our mineral resource is very robust, and the next 12 months are going to deliver the major catalyst as we move towards construction. We're about $135 million market cap this morning, maybe a little bit bigger. We have 18 million in the bank, well financed. We have 13 million coming back to us in May or June from the government for a tax refund. And we are now in the hotel business. The forest fires were terrible in Quebec this summer, as you all may remember. In the southern James Bay, we are one of the few surviving camps. So we have half of our camp being rented out starting on Monday, and we'll be making about $600,000 a month for that for the rest of the year. We're about 70% institutionally held, almost 20% of that is Quebec Inc., namely Investment Quebec, the case FTQ. Well covered by the street. We have all the capital and support we need to deliver a production decision through the end of this year. We're in the Fortet-Evans Greenstone Belt, which is structurally just north of the Abitibi, one of the most prolific gold belts in the world. The Fortet-Evans Greenstone Belt is the same rock, same age, same metamorphic grade as the Abitibi. There's a fall line between the two, and the real difference being we are buried under about 10 meters of till. So historically, there's been a lot less exploration. The gold boxes you see is our 500 square kilometers. We had 1,500 square kilometers. About a year and a half ago, we sold 1,000 square kilometers to Sayona Mining for $50 million, and we've been running the company off of that. As you zoom into the mine, we have four main areas of development that I'm going to talk about: J, 87, X22 in the southwest. The previous production was in 87 and J. They're flooded. We're fully permitted to dewater. The EIA is done on that. We bought $6 million of pumps and barges. We've done one season of test dewatering, and we'll be fully dewatering in the spring. We have essentially 8.5 kilometers of strike length of all proven mineralization. One huge benefit we have in this capital-intensive environment we're in is the infrastructure that we have. In September of 2020, pre-inflation, SRK targeted our replacement cost at about $350 million. Today, it's more like $500. We have 40 kilometers of roads, 60 kilometers of hydropower coming in. We have a fully operational substation. We've invested $25 million over the last 3-4 years upgrading all of this infrastructure. We have offices, core storage. Probably the most significant thing we have under those pictures is about 6.5 square kilometers of fully permitted tailings. As we enter an operational phase, we will have a life of mine capacity with the appropriate lifts. That would be about $380 million in today's dollars to build that, and about 3 years to permit. The more we drill, the more we find, and our thesis is that Inmet didn't do bad work. Inmet just did no work. All of their money went to Cobre Panama, as any of us would have. It's the 6th largest copper mine in the world. We inherited on the left about just under 2 million ounces equivalent underground at Troilus. As we drilled the structural continuity of the deposit along strike and under the pits, we took a structural model rather than a stratigraphic model. We've had massive success in our almost 350,000 meters of drilling. We have 11.2 million ounces equivalent indicated, 1.8 inferred. When our feasibility comes out shortly, you'll see one of the largest reserve bases in Canada. This is a cross section. I'm guaranteed this is going to spin, so we'll be patient. But basically, we're looking at two main pits. The southwest was a brand new discovery by us about 2.5 years ago. 2 million ounces right at surface, very low strip. The other deposits have all formed one super pit that you'll see in our feasibility, and it's going to have some fairly major indications. So, X2287 and J have formed one super pit that will be about 4.5 kilometers long, 2.5 kilometers wide, and could be pushed down to about 700 meters. The significance of those three zones merging is we are seeing about a 30% reduction in overall strip. We're seeing far better access to the ore body, and it's also provided the opportunities for us, which you will see shortly in our mine plan when our feasibility comes out, to exploit three areas that are significantly higher grade. And our whole focus will be pushing higher grade through the mill for the first 4 to 5 years, repaying capital as fast as humanly possible, dropping the cutoff grade and pushing tons. That's our growth by zone. If you look at the second panel down, the comparison between 2020 and 2023, you can see the significance of our last 14 months of drilling. Significant addition of resource, mainly through X22. The discovery hole of that was 45 meters, about 4.5 grams from surface, and the significant reduction in waste. This is a comparison of all the gold and copper mines in Canada being developed and the dreamers, of which we are one. Troilus rates now as the second largest behind Côté. The best analogy we can have, and I'll spend the last 2 minutes I have talking about it, is Artemis. Artemis has done a fabulous job with Blackwater. They bought the resource from New Gold. They put a feasibility out. They permitted it. They've got financed, and they're under construction. They're about halfway done. We're a little bit bigger. We're a little bit higher grade. They're a $1.3 billion market cap today. We're kind of 130 million. So you're going to see our feasibility out in the next month. It's going to be over a 25-year mine life at 35,000 tons a day, producing well over 300,000 ounces equivalent life of mine. 35% of the gold comes out in gravity. The rest reports to a copper gold concentrate. 80% of what we produce will be gold, 20% will be copper, and we'll produce about 1 million ounces of silver a year. We're 8 months into permitting. Our detailed project descriptions are in. We are, terms of reference are done. All of our consultations are complete, and our EIA will be submitted in May or June. We expect to have both provincial and federal permits in hand in early 2025. And during that period, especially once you see our feasibility study out, we're well advanced on project financing and partnerships going forward. When you look at Greenstone being built by Artemis right now, it's a partnership between Equinox and Orion. You look at Windfall, it's a partnership between a Cisco and Goldfields. You look at Côté, it's Sumitomo and IAMGOLD. These large, massive, world-class deposits, the risk is being shared through partnership. It brings validity, it brings lower cost of capital, and it brings shared skills. Troilus is on the same path of that model. We have 500 square kilometers of proven gold mineralization. We have 4 key areas that we're exploiting. We're having a very focused exploration program while we're going through this, through the engineering and bureaucracy of building a mill and a mine. And we'll be spending about $5 or $6 million this year regionally on high-grade targets. Troilus does not need more gold. Troilus needs higher grade gold, and so our focus will be on higher grade targets that could add accretive ounces in the future. Our team has done this before. I'll just target a couple names. Jacqueline Leroux has permitted 5 mines in Quebec for Agnico and others. Daniel Bergeron was part of the senior construction team for Eleanor. And Eric Lamontagne on the board is building Greenstone right now. That's his project. He was the last superintendent at Troilus and runs our technical committee. So you can imagine we're getting real-time data as Greenstone's building. Troilus is going to be the exact same size mine. There's a timeline that I gave you. The feasibility and resource will be out momentarily. Wish we could have had it out today. And the next 12 months is basically going to deliver all of those major de-risking catalysts that we've been working towards over the last 4.5 years of drilling. So just to wrap up, the next 12 months is nothing but catalysts that we're fully funded to deliver. The Quebec government provides a very stable backstop to Troilus, both on the permitting side and the ownership side, and eventually the funding side. We are a large, levered name that in an appreciating gold price, you're going to see massive outperformance. So I'll leave it there. Please come to our booth, and our team's happy to chat with you. Thanks for your time.